It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Kyle Benedict as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. Great to have you in studio today. We're going to be talking about the Verde Valley Forum for Public Affairs. It is being revitalized. Dick Dahl, the president, and committee member Dr. Donna Michaels in studio today. Welcome to studio.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir.
Good to see both of you.
Nice to be here.
Maybe we should start with that, the revitalization. It was, I guess, stopped in 2005, but it's coming back. So let's talk a little bit about that. Who wants to take that one and kind of tell us why it's coming back?
Well, Dick, I'll let you take that one.
Well, there's been a nucleus of folks that were involved for a number of years, and a couple of individuals in particular have been sort of lobbying for the reactivation of the forum. And it just seemed like an idea whose time has come, and particularly with the emergence of a lot of controversy now with Yavapai College and that whole realm. And Don and I looked at each other one day and said, you know, the time is right. And this is a topic that was kind of made to order for the forum.
That's really important because, you know, I had heard a rumor that there were mounting tensions in all of our communities, not just one, on the east side of Mingus Mountain, and I gave Dick a call. You know, Dick was a founding member and president of the forum, very much part of the incorporation process for Sedona, but of course now we're the Verde Valley Forum in these 20 years that have passed since its establishment. And the fact of the matter is that this one question about what's being delivered or not on this side of the mountain is really tied to a much larger context, which Paul is about, and why I have the book There Are Kids, written by a wonderful Harvard public policy professor, and many across the state, United States, some very close neighbors of ours, who are recognizing that K-12 education and quite frankly secondary education is outdated. It frankly hasn't kept up with a global economy-based society in which we live today. And so there's this great schism of who we are in our communities and how we are or are not best meeting our workforce development and lifelong learning needs and growing our own. And I think that's particularly true for the Verde Valley. You know, we do a great job of attracting really high quality, high paid, degreed individuals into our communities, but they've arrived. They've already got the tools to do well. What we don't do so well is grow our own. We have to figure out a better way, and there's lots of innovative models that are highly successful across the country, and Dick and I will talk to you about that in a minute. But this book was a revelation for me, because Dr. Robert Putnam talks about how we've got to get in sync, just like the president of one of our neighboring states, Colorado Mountain University, Dr. Hauser, talks about we have to find better ways to bring education to where we are. And by that I mean not only just geographically, but what is our starting point, what is our need, based in this new environment we find ourselves in, which is a knowledge-based global society. And so I think that's a larger context at which to, and it's an important difference for us to look at what's going on in Arizona, of course, generally, which is why we've also partnered with the Arizona We Want Institute, founded by, of course, Emeritus President Dr. Laddie Kaur, who has put in online now a poll for all of us to take to better understand who are we now? And we're partnering with them as an organization as well, so that we can better understand what our society needs are as it relates to the Verde Valley, and then look at what's out here based on the research that ASU's highly esteemed Morrison Institute is going to do for us to provide a common knowledge base for all of the participants that are invited to this forum to read and study and have a conversation to come to consensus about on what should our next steps be and how do we get from where we are now to where we want to be to succeed and sustain that success in the Verde Valley.
We probably should actually address the first question that Barbara had sent to me is what is the Verde Valley Forum for Public Affairs, so folks know exactly what it is that's going to be coming together.
Right.
That maybe fell apart in 2005. Why did it kind of end in 2005?
It wasn't really even a falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what this organization knew its mission was a singular mission, was to bring about people and ideas to create outcomes that would build community, or community capacity. And did that successfully for 19 forums. A lot of good product came from that, and Dick can speak to that. But more recently, even though we are in good standing with the Arizona Corporation Commission and reinvigorating because of our name change to the Verde Valley Forum, our 501c3, we went dark, if you will, because we felt we'd done our job and that it was not important to meet for the sake of meeting. There's plenty of people who do that. What we want to do is meet, gain consensus, and develop a strategic plan in terms of what are the first 3 things we need to get done this year and how do we measure them that will be evidence-based that we're making a difference, in this case, in post-secondary education in the Verde Valley.
Okay, secondary education. So this forum, the Verde Valley Forum for Public Affairs, it's going to be made up of folks from the Verde Valley,
Absolutely.
Sedona Verde Valley.
Absolutely. In fact, there'll be 100 participants, and those participants will represent stakeholder groups, whether it's community colleges, school districts who are very much involved in the process as well, or other entities who have skin in the game to understand better who we are as communities, as very different, distinct communities that comprise the Verde Valley, and enter this process, this forum process, this 2.5-day retreat and conference with the Morrison Institute facilitating the research background report document that will bring to us a common knowledge base to then better understand who we are and where we might go, and in fact perhaps bring in some national speakers that Dick's been working on to show innovative models, Paul, that are working right now across the country with very similar demographics such as we have in the Verde Valley.
You said the forum was successful in the past, in the Sedona Forum.
Yes.
What were some of the topics that were discussed?
Well, the initial forum back in 1985 came about after 2 unsuccessful attempts to incorporate the city of Sedona.
I remember that.
The forum is modeled after the Arizona Town Hall.
Yeah.
And there were a handful of us who had participated at one time or another in the Arizona Town Hall process. And we just kind of gravitated together and said, you know, let's see if we can't pull off a forum here and get the warring factions, if I can use that term, to quit shouting at each other and do more listening and try to find the common basis. The Arizona Town Hall process has been around for over 50 years.
Right.
And have tackled a lot of vexing issues and have helped bring about change. Again, the forum is patterned after the town hall. We had a problem because back in the initial days, the Taxpayers Association there in Sedona was doing an annual town hall. So we coined the term forum, but it's modeled almost verbatim after the Arizona Town Hall process.
Gotcha.
And that's purposeful. You know, that entity, the Arizona Town Hall, has a 50-year, as Dick just said, reputation of consensus building, nonpartisan, representative process. And frankly, we didn't see any reason to reinvent the wheel. And it brought a lot of instant recognition and credibility, if you will, to the process, and allowed us to engage University of Arizona, Northern Arizona University, ASU, and now more recently ASU's Morrison Institute, to provide the objective research background report, which they, by the way, have already begun. It's a year-long process. And at least a month before the process, the forum will take place in April of next year, they'll do an orientation for the selected participants who are stakeholders in this issue, to help them better understand what the content of that report is and why it's important that they understand it thoroughly, and then facilitate that understanding. And I guess they're also going to be required to do a little more homework. So these are all going to be people who are willing to roll up their sleeves, work together, even though they have many faceted views that they bring to this process. They'll have a shared common knowledge base. And one of those reports is On the Rise, that was published. I think, Dick, you have a copy of it here on the desk as well.
We have to take a break. Let's take a quick break, okay? Let's do that. Verde Valley Forum for Public Affairs President Dick Dahl and committee member Dr. Donna Michaels in studio today. This is Countywide. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
That is a pretty good breakfast. You're not even eating.
Not hungry.
No? Why not? What's up?
Kath and I knew that Jenny'd been partying a bit. Found out she tried heroin.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
Hey, it's Ava, and this is Tess from Do Your Selfie, where we recreate the hottest looks from today's biggest music videos.
After cleaning out our closet, we have a lot of clothes we don't wear anymore.
Like this old pile of t-shirts.
It's not garbage, it's actually a new rug.
And to make it, all you need to do is cut, tie, and glue.
Cut the t-shirt into strips.
Tie the strips into knots.
And glue the knots to the bath mat. I love it. Give your garbage another life.
And recycle.
Orkin has pest control down to a science.
When your business chooses Orkin's Precision Protection Program, you get a tailored pest control program for your specific industry and environment.
Your business can benefit from over a century of experience, training, and scientific knowledge that define the Orkin man.
Maximum protection, minimum exposure, backed by one of the industry's most comprehensive guarantees.
Choose your locally owned and operated Northern Arizona Orkin and get more than an exterminator. Get an expert.
Welcome back to Countywide. We're talking about the Verde Valley Forum for Public Affairs. It's coming up next April 2016. Sorry about that. April 2016. Good website for more information about what we're talking about today, because there's just no way we're going to squeeze all this in 20 minutes. But vvforum.org. So I guess if people want to participate, is that a good place to start to kind of find out about how they can participate?
It's a great place to start. And if you go to that website, there's also a contact point on it for you to email and get more information. We certainly want members. We want a diversified membership. We're in a membership campaign right now. The whole point of this is to bring people together.
Yeah, Arizona Town Hall is just about every walk's of life.
That's right.
So
that's key.
We're going to be looking for the same thing here.
Absolutely.
For this forum, I would imagine.
In fact, we're very proud of the fact that Kent Jones, who has moved back to our Verde Valley, a long-time administrator with the Arizona Public Service Power Company, or APS, is our Participant Selection Committee chair. And his job will be to ensure that the stakeholder groups are represented as invited participants. There'll be 100 invited participants, and so there's a lot of work for that committee to do to make sure that it's represented very well by the stakeholders who are most affected.
It has been years since I have talked to Kent Jones about a power outage in Verde Valley. You said his name, I was like, Kent Jones. You said APS, I was like, oh, I know.
He's back to our delight and chairing, and he has a long history with the Verde Valley Forum.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're very proud to have him in partnership with us. And Yavapai Apache Nation, by the way, is a lead sponsor. Once again, they're underwriting the venue for this forum, April 3 to 6 in 2016. And Chairman Beauty sits on our board. And key to that is that he will ensure, through his participation, that we look through the lens of whatever our future educational offerings are of cultural relevance. We've got to get better at that, whether it's English as a second language, our First Nations people, underserved populations, and the list goes on. We have to have a broad tent that everyone can come under with what we offer in the future, so that we close this disparity gap that we find everywhere in our country, but especially rural areas such as the Verde Valley.
So how do these forums work? It's 3 days, is that right? 3 days? So how does the forum work?
Well, the forum, the first 2 days are what we call panel discussions. And these 100 participants will be divided up into 4 discussion panels. Each panel follows the same discussion outline, but may come up and should come up with different answers to the questions that are being asked.
Okay.
And then we have a report writing team that takes not minutes, but the report back from each panel session and merges those into a draft document. And then the last day we have what's called a plenary session, where all 100 participants are involved in debating and ultimately adopting a report and recommendations.
And then where does that recommendation go?
Oh, that's a great
The final
question.
report, because Arizona Town Hall, they do the same thing. They meet for several days, they put all this information together, come to some kind of consensus, put it in a report, and then they turn it over, I believe, to the governor's office, right? Okay,
right.
So
and
where does
many
ours
other
go?
entities. Well, that goes to many entities that Dick can outline for us, but also, and I think key for us to remember and our listeners to have some confidence in for the work that's ahead of us. And for those would-be funders, this is not going to be a document that sits on a shelf. This is going to be a tool in which we implement strategies and measure milestones of success of those strategies. And so that's very exciting for us. And we have a history of being able to do that with the forum, but it's critically important in this topic as well.
Okay, let's take our next break. Verde Valley Forum for Public Affairs is the topic today. vbforum.org is the website for more information. This is Countywide. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary. Hi, Smokey. Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hart, what's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What did I do? Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit. Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just please, don't leave. Okay. But remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
if you store your guns properly.
I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
I won't have to tell so many family members. I'm sorry.
I won't hear as many scary stories.
And I won't have to tell my kids. This isn't a drill.
Please.
Please,
Do it for us.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always, lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
Welcome back to Countywide. Great to have you along. vvforum.org for more information about the Verde Valley Forum for Public Affairs coming up next April 2016. How are we funding the forum? Because this is quite an endeavor to get 100 people together for 3 days and then come up with this plan.
You know, we're going to be responsible for our success as a fundraising body. We have no outside funding. This is an organization comprised totally of volunteers because of the great, generous leadership of the Yavapai Apache Nation. Mm-hmm. We have a place to hold this conference, our forum. He's underwriting the meals for the participants. That's huge, but I'll be very busy talking with, and I've already begun those discussions with APS, for example, with our cities and municipalities, all of our charitable organizations who might find a way to recognize the need to fund this. Individuals have historically funded as well. Verde Valley Regional Economic Development Council, which was actually spawned from one of the earlier forums, has been a funder for us. But Paul, we're at ground zero right now. So it's important for our listeners to understand that if they have some money and care about education and what that means in terms of workforce development for our communities, please give me a call through or email the website, and be sure that I would love to present to you and tell you more about how you can go about funding the organization. It's critical. You know, the fact of the matter is that funding is dwindling. That's going away for education as well too, whether it's K-12 or post-secondary. And it's not going to get better. Mm-hmm. And so one of the exciting things for us is to begin to say, well, it's not the sky is falling anymore, because that strategy doesn't work. How about what is working out there, and can we benchmark them and bring them to our community if they fit our demographics and apply them here? San Diego, I just learned this recently from some of the research that Dick's been doing, has a public-private partnership that underwrites with businesses there 68% of community college funding. So there is hope out there. There are ways to skin this cat. We just need to be innovative. We need to take a look at how we can develop, deepen, strengthen our relationships with our enterprises so that they will see it's in their immediate benefit to help fund education in America today. And I think we can take responsibility for that trajectory, and the forum is beginning that process here.
I think it's so strange that education gets thrown to the back, but we talk about our kids being the future. It really...
Well, it's certainly a contradiction, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So that's it. We're out of time. Okay, but we've got to tell folks that vvforum.org is the website again. vvforum.org. All the information is on there, including, I imagine, how you're going to pick the people that are going to be on the panel. Yes. Okay, all that good stuff.
Questions? Write us and we'll get back to you, and we'll be quick about it.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Dick Dahl, thank you for coming in.
You bet.
Dr. Donna Michaels, good to see you. Thanks for coming in. That's today's Countywide, and we will talk to you again next time.